Folks, this is Toyota Australia's second EV model in this country. This is the bZ4X Touring, and it takes the regular bZ4X and extends its bum a little bit to make it a far more useful thing. It's also a far more expensive thing now, priced at $69,990, but it's also quite a powerful thing with 280 kilowatts of power and a 0 to 100 of 4.4 seconds. What makes this thing so special though? Well, I think most of the action is in the back, so let's take a look. All right, here is where most of the difference lies with the bZ4X Touring. They've reshaped the roofline to be a lot flatter, more wagon-like. You've got a bigger window here, and also you have 140mm more body behind the rear axle line. That liberates quite a fair bit more space inside the boot. Let's take a look. Obviously, you got the power tailgate as well, standard equipment on the Touring.
Inside the boot, there's 603 litres of cargo volume for all your stuff. That's 151 litres more than you get from the normal bZ4X.
You also have a little bit more space underneath the floor should you need it. There's also a stowage cubby for your retractable cargo blind as well. Over here, you have a 1500 watt inverter, a regular household power outlet, which is upside down for some unknown reason. You also have release handles for your rear seat backs, some bag hooks. All this useful stuff should translate into a car that's far more livable for the family buyer. But what's it like to drive? Let's hop in and have a look at that.
So I think one of the questions that really should be answered is 280 kilowatts of power maybe just a little bit too much for an SUV wagon like the bZ4X Touring? Well, here we are on a twisty road. Let's find out. Well, to be honest with you, it's actually a pretty handy thing. We're flowing quite nicely from corner to corner. You can probably see my luggage sliding around on the bench seat behind me. So we are pulling a little bit of G. It does feel surprisingly sporty for what it is. You think of Toyota SUVs, you don't exactly think of razor-sharp dynamics, but this thing with its fairly prodigious power, 280 kilowatts is definitely a whole lot, and a 4.5 second 0 to 100 time is pretty sharp. But those are nice to haves. But what I appreciate more is the way this thing handles. It's actually got fairly nice direct steering. The small diameter steering wheel, it works for me. I actually quite like it. It's a nice interface for a car like this and definitely makes it feel a little bit more alert and agile. I will have to mention though, the positioning of the instrument panel above the top of the steering wheel's rim is definitely going to be an acquired taste for some of you. I know some people really hate that. Other people, it's not a factor. For me, I don't really mind it. But I think if your body geometry is a little bit different, it could be a completely different story for you. As always, make sure that you test drive your car extensively. Don't just rely on third-hand reports like what I'm giving you right now, especially when you've got something that might be a little bit challenging ergonomically, such as this instrument panel setup. But in terms of the way the car drives, I'm very much on board with it. This is a pretty well-rounded product in terms of the driving experience. You can also modify your regen strength using these paddles. They're not shift paddles, obviously, because it's an EV, it's direct drive. But you can change the strength from just, completely coasting freely or close to it, to having enough regen to almost get a kind of one pedal mode going. It's not a true one pedal mode, but it's fairly close. So for those of you who like to feel like you're driving an electric forklift, that is there for you. But I kind of prefer to dial it to the slack end because I prefer that sort of fluid, coasty feel, and that's something that this car does fairly well. All right, we've put a few miles in the dial now, and I'm seeing a number of 19 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That's a pretty respectable number, especially considering we've been doing a lot of highway driving, sort of steady state, triple digit speeds. That's not really the realm where EVs are as comfortable as they want to be. They prefer to have some braking events to get some regen happening. So that's actually not a bad figure though, considering we are doing some touring driving. I mean, touring's in the name, isn't it? This is a car that you could conceivably take the family out on a long drive with. You've got a claimed 488 kilometers of range with the battery that's in this thing. It's not the longest legs of any bZ4X. The non-touring models actually have more range, especially the two-wheel drive one. However, I think there's definitely enough range margin there for you to make some pretty good use of this car's long distance capability. Because honestly, on this kind of highway driving, I think it's actually quite a comfortable thing. The suspension is very much in tune with these sort of roads. It's not really knocking you around. It's not wearing you down, which is great. Everything just kind of works with you. Even the seats. These seats are actually really comfortable for spending quite a bit of time in. I'm definitely at home in this cabin. It's not cramped, things are close to hand, I've got some pretty good ergonomics going on. There is a fairly heavy reliance on the screen and control clustering within it. That seems to be just an unavoidable thing in the new car world these days. It would be nice if there were a few more physical buttons to interface with, but other than that, I'm finding not that much to complain about with this interior. But I will reiterate, that instrument panel is, that might be a deciding factor for you. For me, I'm okay with it. But yeah, your results may vary.
So, the bZ4X Touring is a pretty sharp drive, has plenty of power, decent cabin space, and reasonable range. This is just our first taste of it, but the bZ4X Touring does make a solid first impression, and seems to be a much more compelling package than the regular bZ4X. The only problem is its price. There's just one model with a wagon body style, and with a retail price that's pushed right up against the $70,000 mark, it's a big ask when the bulk of its Chinese competitors are being sold for way less. There's potentially a solution to this though. The regular bZ4X is also offered with a two-wheel drive powertrain that's quite affordable at $55,990, and it also happens to offer nearly 600 kilometers of range. That's the best of any bZ4X model. If Toyota can pop that low-cost, long-range two-wheel drive powertrain into the bZ4X Touring body style, then that would definitely make what's already a good EV even better.